Hello, I'm Lisa Rafel. I'd like to tell you a story. And it's about rebirthing, but a different kind of rebirthing. You know, there are all kinds of rebirthing. Could be you're learning something new, it can be you're actually allowing yourself to give up the old. In this rebirthing story, I learned something quite profound. I was at a hotel. I was studying how to embody Kabbalah, which is a mystical form of Judaism, which was being taught by Jason Schulman in Princeton, New Jersey. And I would go there 4 times a year to do this study. One day I was at lunch and I was sitting in a booth in the cafeteria area of the hotel. I was talking to a friend and I started feeling this bzz under my body. And I thought, there must be a motor or something under the seat. And I decided to ignore it. And it became a very consistent and regular bzz, bzz, bzz. Anyway, when I got up, I was assuming that the buzzing would, of course, stop, but it didn't. Turned out the buzzing was inside of me, and it was getting longer. Longer buzzes, longer sounds. So I went to my room. I had 2 roommates at the time, and I mentioned to one of them I was not going to go back to class. Something was happening, and I needed to stay in the room and find out what it was. And she came up with me to the room just to check on me. And she said, I think you're in labor. And I'd had 2 children when I was much younger, and it didn't feel like labor, but it felt like something was definitely moving through my body. And I had read about Kundalini and Kundalini practices, and I thought maybe this is a Kundalini energy. I didn't know. But what I did know was something was powerfully happening to me. And I was feeling these waves with this bzz sound. And she, being a wonderful friend and roommate, said, I'm going to go get our other roommate. I'll be right back. And I was lying on the bed. And I thought, what if this is a rebirthing? What if something is happening that I'm birthing myself? And suddenly I could feel myself inside my body like a baby. And my other roommate came back. And now the waves were really moving through my body. And it felt like I was in contractions. And it felt like I was actually birthing myself. When I was born head first, but in this rebirthing, I came out feet first. I could feel my small inner body coming out feet first, and my head was still inside my body. And I went, stop, you must remember this. You must remember this, because what I was seeing was so extraordinary. And I made this quick decision. Every baby must see this. And they all forget. But I'm not going to forget. I won't forget. I won't forget. I won't forget. It became like a little mantra as I am looking at the universe, but it wasn't the universe. It was enormous and grand and extraordinary, and it felt like all connection to everything everywhere. It was black, but there was light inside of it. It was intimate, it felt powerful, and I could see it. And I stayed there as long as I could, saying, I will remember. And then I came out. And I was like a newborn baby lying on the bed. And my mother body had disappeared, and now I was this newborn. And my roommates, who had been holding my hands through this contraction process, wrapped me in a blanket. It moves me to tears to remember how kind and compassionate and thoughtful they were. so that I could have this process, so that I could wake up to a new me. My skin felt vulnerable and tender. I was remembering where I had just been, and they left me there to be by myself. I stayed there all afternoon. I don't remember if I thought. I just stayed there. I was in amazement and awe. And the next day I went back to class wrapped in a blanket and said, I'm feeling very tender. And everyone was very kind and appreciative that whatever I was going through was private and didn't ask. But that experience of seeing that changed my life. That we are connected to something so extraordinary. And perhaps that is where we come from. I hope whatever rebirthing you are doing within your own life has that compassion and kindness and thoughtfulness so that you can embrace yourself like a newborn in that moment and be in relationship to yourself with love.